Yo, 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 what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right. So as people come into the room, please make sure that you smash that like button. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell. Share the video out to your followers. Also, make sure you check out my backup channels and also check out my other social media. This live stream is probably going to be relatively short, like in the neighborhood of a half hour. All right. Also, just so everybody knows, there will be no more Crimecast on Blacklight Revelations 1 and no more Crimecast on Blacklight Revelations 2. All right. Crimecast is going to now be on the Crimecast channel only. All right. So just so you guys know, and I don't know if you guys can find it, but the Crimecast channel, I'll put the link in the description box so you guys have it. But it should also be on the channel section. But Crimecast is only going to be on there from here on out. It's not going to be on Blacklight Revelations 1, and it's also not going to be on Blacklight Revelations 2 anymore. All right. Shouts out to my man Jay Bird in the building. What up with it, Jay? What's good with you, bro? Good to see you as always. All right. Hold on real quick. Crimecast channel link. All right. So I'm about to put the link in there for the Crimecast channel. All right. So make sure that you guys sub that channel. All right. If you're watching on the replay, turn on the live chat so you can see it. Hit that link because that's where all of the Crimecast will be from here on out. All right. Shouts out to my man Erie Blackfire. What up with it, bro? So what we're gonna talk about real quick is what's going on with Derek Chauvin. And my question for everybody that's watching is, have you guys heard about what is going on with Derek Chauvin? If you have heard about it, give me a thumbs up in the chat. If you have not, give me a thumbs down in the chat. All right. So apparently, Derek Chauvin, he was sentenced to 21 years after striking a rare type of plea deal on federal civil rights charges connected to George Floyd's death. Now, I'm sure people are going to be kind of weird about that. Have you guys heard anything about that? Because it's like, why is he getting a plea deal? Shouts out to my man Terrence Jackson. What up with it, bro? What's good? So let's check this out and see exactly what's popping off. Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin was sentenced by a federal judge on Thursday to 21 years in prison, which is 252 months on federal civil rights charges. The final sentence came after a legally rare type of negotiated plea deal that gave the judge very little discretion over Derek Chauvin's punishment. Now, my question for you guys is, have you all ever heard of a plea deal that operates in that fashion? If you have heard of a plea deal that works like that, give me a thumbs up. If you have never heard of a plea deal that works like that, give me a thumbs down. I've never heard of anything like this. Okay. I've never heard of any kind of plea deal that takes away power from the judge. This is something completely new for me. Okay. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we got 5 people watching. Shouts out to all 5 people who are watching. And we have 4 likes. If everybody can smash that like button, we'll have 9 likes, which will be awesome. So please make sure you guys smash that like button. All right. So Terrence said they must have had that one hidden in their back pocket. Yeah, I've never heard of this. I don't think anybody has ever heard of this. To me, this sounds like something that they might have made up like right now. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says Chauvin, now 46, was previously convicted in state court on April 20th, 2021 of second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter in the death of George Floyd Jr. After his televised state-level trial, Chauvin was sentenced on June 25th, 2021 to 22.5 years in a Minnesota state prison facility for murdering George Floyd. All right, so that's what happened prior. Now, this is what's going on currently. All right, this is what's happening right now. Chauvin was accused by federal prosecutors of violating Floyd's civil rights during the now infamous and fatal May 25th, 2020 encounter, which led to nationwide protests. Chauvin was also accused federally. All right, so here's the federal charges of violating the civil rights of an unarmed black juvenile in 2017. All right, so now here's my question: was anybody aware of those charges? I've talked about them on some of the videos that I've done about Derek Chauvin, but I think a lot of those videos are hidden and probably only accessible on Patreon. So anybody that's interested in Patreon, the link is in the chat. All of those old videos are up on there. But I never heard of this type of plea bargain that gives the judge less ability to impose a sentence. This is something brand new. And again, as usual, what we find interesting about this is that it's not really being discussed in the mainstream media. So now here it says Chauvin pleaded guilty via an agreement. All right. So he pleaded guilty via an agreement filed on December 15th of 2021 to 2 counts of deprivation of rights under the color of law. 1 count for each victim. All right. U.S. District Judge Paul Magnuson accepted the plea on May 4th of 2022. So now what I find fascinating is it took the George Floyd incident to get him to be convicted and tried for this issue that took place in 2017 with this black juvenile. Up until then, there was no prosecution for that. And people are not really talking about that. So my question is, why not? Why aren't people really talking about that? Like, so now here it says the federal sentence handed down on Thursday is therefore roughly congruent with Chauvin's state level murder sentence, though the distinctions between federal and state parole and home confinement rules will eventually affect how Chauvin serves the later portions of his sentences. The full federal sentence from here on out will be 245 months behind bars, Magnuson noted on Thursday. The judge gave Chauvin credit for several months already served behind bars. Now, here's my question. If you're getting that much time, does it really matter about time served? That's a good question, Terrence. Terrence says, does accepting the plea insinuate that he could reject it? Now, he probably could reject it, but that would subject him to, a jury trial, I'm assuming. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm assuming the plea is like a deal, and he could reject the plea deal, but then that would subject him to the scrutiny of the court. You know what I'm saying? So now, Philinois Floyd, who is George Floyd's brother, asked the judge to issue the maximum possible sentence, CNN reported. Eric J. Nielsen, who is Chauvin's attorney, reportedly asked for a 20-year sentence on Thursday, the minimum contemplated in the defendant's plea agreement. The prosecutors asked for a 25-year sentence. I really don't know why you did what you did, Magnuson said to Chauvin on Thursday, according to a medical pool report on the proceedings. But you put your knee on another person's neck until they expire is simply wrong. And for that conduct, you must be substantially punished. And I agree with that. But now what I find fascinating is that to me, that's common sense, right? But the majority of America does not agree with that. This is what you need to understand about the people that you're walking around in the United States next to. Those people feel that execution before trial is what is permissible. That's what they feel. Those people feel that they should have the right to a jury trial, and you have the right to be subject to execution whenever they see fit, or whenever one of their agents, which is a police officer, sees fit to execute you. That's how they feel that the United States should work for you. Now, my question is, and I'm sure everybody is probably going to say the same thing when it comes to this. Do you feel that that's okay? Are you okay with that? Me personally, I'm not okay with that. I have a huge issue with that. And real quick, shouts out to all the live viewers that we have. We got 5 people watching and we got 6 likes. If everybody could smash that like button, we'll have 11 likes. So please make sure you guys smash that like button. And if you're not subscribed and you're watching, make sure you hit that bell. So now here it says, your conduct is wrong and it is offensive, the judge continued. To place a knee on another person's neck is unconscionable. Also, to hit a young man with a flashlight is wrong. So that must be what he did in 2017. For these actions, you must be held accountable. Now, this sounds all well and good, but why is he not getting any kind of consequence for this issue that took place in 2017 until now? So because the George Floyd incident shined a light on his behavior, now he's getting sentenced for something that took place that long ago. Does anybody else see a problem with that? If you guys see a problem with that, give me a thumbs up in the comment section. If you don't see a problem with that, give me a thumbs down. All right. So now here it says the flashlight incident involved the 14-year-old who Chauvin admittedly victimized in 2017. The judge further ordered Chauvin to pay fines out of his prison wages. All right. When Chauvin is released from federal custody, he will serve 5 years on suspended release, Magnuson said. As Law and Crime has previously noted, Chauvin's plea agreement with federal prosecutors was a legally rare C plea, so named after Rule 11C1C of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure. So now here's my question. How many of you all know what the rules of federal criminal procedure are? If you guys know what that is or what those are, give me a thumbs up. If you're not familiar with those, give me a thumbs down. All right. So now so-called C pleas are negotiated between prosecutors and defendants. They generally afford judges little, if any, discretion at the sentencing. Chauvin's C plea gave Judge Magnuson at least a small amount of discretion, perhaps to entice the judge to accept it. All right. Magnuson's acceptance of Chauvin's negotiated C plea, which allowed Chauvin to basically choose his own sentence in conformity with the possible penalties afforded by federal law, was a major victory for his defense. So I want you guys to understand that. Now, what we need to do is we need to pay attention to these C pleas, and we need to go back through the criminal justice system and see how many Black people have been allowed to have these C pleas, because the significance of this C plea is that it allowed Chauvin to choose his own sentence, which I don't think people who commit crimes should be allowed to choose their own sentence. If you did something like Chauvin did, you should be able to choose your last meal, and that's it. So now here it says federal judges are generally known to dislike C pleas because of their restrictive nature, but pay very close attention. When it came to Derek Chauvin, they circumvented what it is that they claim that they don't like. My question for everybody that's watching is, why would they do that? Why is Derek Chauvin special? Shouts out to Janesta Coleman. What up with it, Janesta? Why is Chauvin special that they would do that for him? One law review article called C pleas sentence bargain agreements. All right. So if we got time, we'll check out this article about these C pleas. All right, because I think that's interesting. And it looks like this is some article from the Chicago University. Oh, actually, this is like a long legal briefing, so we might not actually look at that. And I gotta agree, Terrence. Terrence says police should be held to a higher standard when it comes to any crime. And I totally agree. And the reason why is because they're supposed to act as an agent of the public, which means that the public puts a amount of faith in them. And that amount of faith that the public puts in them is allegedly because of some kind of system of integrity that they have. So if you break the public's trust, that's not only breaking the public's trust of the police department, but it's also breaking the public's trust of the government's ability to govern. So there should be extra consequences that come with that. Anybody who is supposed to be held to a higher moral ground, when they break that, there should be consequences for it. So now here it says most federal plea agreements are B pleas, again, named after Rule 11C1B, where prosecutors recommend a certain sentencing range for a judge to consider or otherwise agree not to oppose a sentencing range recommended by the defense. B pleas give judges considerably more discretion at the sentencing. So now, how is it that these things get done outside of the judge? Does that make any sense? How is it that these things get done outside of the judge? If that makes any sense, let me know. To me, that's not making a whole lot of sense. I'm not understanding that. Does that make sense to you guys? So now here it says some federal judges have rejected C pleas outright because they limit the court's role at sentencing. So my question for you guys is, why didn't this judge reject this C plea? I don't think that this judge rejected the C plea because I don't think this judge was truly interested in punishing Chauvin to the full extent of the law. That's why I don't think that he did anything with this C plea. So now here it says cases so rejected usually go back to the proverbial legal drawing board. As Law and Crime previously reported, Chauvin's federal plea agreement document requested a punishment term somewhere of between 20 and 25 years. Since the judge accepted the agreement, he was bound to those terms. The prison portion of that term was contemplated to last somewhere between 204 and 255 months, or 17 years and 21 and 1/4 years behind bars. The rest of the sentence could, according to the plea document, potentially be served via some other mechanism, perhaps such as home detention. So, again, interesting. Make that make sense. So now here it says during last December's plea hearing, Judge Magnuson reminded Chauvin that he could have faced a life sentence had he taken the federal case to trial and subsequently been convicted. Now, me personally, I think that Chauvin should be doing life. If you guys think that Chauvin should be doing life, give me a thumbs up in the chat. If you don't think that Chauvin should be doing life, give me a thumbs down and explain why you don't think that he should be doing life. But in my opinion, he should be doing life. And in my opinion, he shouldn't have really gotten this C agreement. He shouldn't have gotten this C plea. You know what I'm saying? So real quick, ladies and gentlemen, we have looks like 11 people in here watching. We have 10 people in here watching. Shouts out to all 10 people that we have in here watching. And we got 9 likes. If everybody smashes that like button, we'll have 19 likes, which would be great. So please make sure you guys smash that like button, help support. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, during one of Chauvin's earlier hearings, Magnuson noted that in the federal system, defendants generally serve 90% of their sentences behind bars. In state court, the judge noted, defendants generally serve approximately 2/3 of their sentence behind bars. Therefore, look at this. Look at this. Hold on real quick. Therefore, though Chauvin's federal sentencing range and his state-ordered sentence were roughly congruent, the federal penalty is likely to add at least some prison time onto his state-ordered period of confinement. Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellingson, whose office prosecuted Chauvin at the state level, but obviously not at the federal level, reacted by calling the federal sentence, quote, substantial. Now, here's my question for everybody. Do you all feel that it was appropriate? This is what the prosecutors are saying. They're saying that it's substantial. Substantial means that it's just for a general duration of time. You know what I'm saying? Like, 25 years, 20 years in prison, that's a substantial amount of time. You know what I'm saying? Paying $7,000, that's, for some people, depending on how much money you have available to you, that's a substantial fine. That's a substantial financial equipment. Now, my question is, do you all feel that this is appropriate for the nature of his crime? If you guys feel this is appropriate, let me know. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says federal prosecutors took this case because it was not a typical crime. It was an intentional deprivation of life and liberty, and that is criminal under federal law. So it was appropriate and right that they stepped in, Ellenson said in a statement provided to Law and Crime. In obtaining this conviction and sentence, they sent a message to Minnesotans, all Americans, and law enforcement agencies around the country that crime like this will not be tolerated and that we must do better. While we're sitting here saying that, there's a man in Akron, Ohio, who just recently was shot more than 60 times by the police. You know what I'm saying? So again, my question is this actually sending any kind of message to deter this kind of behavior? If you ask me, no. The answer is no, it's not. You know what I'm saying? It's not. So, ladies and gentlemen, players and pimps, I hope you guys enjoyed this live stream. All right. Make sure you guys subscribe to the Crimecast channel. All right. Because, like I said, talking about crimes from here on out is going to be done on the Crimecast channel. There's not going to be any Crimecast on Blacklight Revelations 1 or Blacklight Revelations 2 any longer. It's going to be specifically on the channel. So make sure that you guys check out that Crimecast channel. The links are in the live chat. So if there's people that are watching on the replay, if you're interested in crime, the way that I break it down, make sure that you hit that link so you can subscribe to Crimecast and check out those streams and videos that I drop over there. All right. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I really hope you guys enjoyed this stream. I'm sorry that it's so short. Your boy should be back tonight at 12 a.m., 12:55, the usual time that I do the streams on the weekend. And so hopefully we'll chop it up. I got some topics that I want to talk about. One of them is, looks like Jordan Peterson is crying, and it's interesting to see what he's crying about. He got removed from Twitter for some comments that he made, and we'll be breaking that stuff down. So if you're interested, make sure that you hop on over there to Blacklight Revelations 1. Make sure that you guys hit that alarm, and I will see you guys tonight. All right? Peace.